Good morning. Hi, everyone. All right, so this is my second live on Substack, and I actually want to be able to start kind of a little ritual here where we go live once a week. So today's Wednesday. Yesterday, I was actually traveling in New York for a wedding, for an engagement party, sorry, for an engagement party, and then of my nephew. And then I also did a VIP day with a client, which was fantastic. Really working on the invisible operating system inside of her center. So I wanted to share some of the insights that really came up in this session because it was a full day together, because I actually think this is way more common than we even realize or that we're like aware of. So there's this feeling that a lot of owners and leaders of big organizations experience where they're like, okay, everything works inside of my business, right? They have systems, they have processes, they have SOPs, they have checklists, they have KPIs, they have dashboards, they have org charts, they like literally everything. Like I don't even do VIP days with clients who don't have all of this stuff, because you need to put all that stuff together to realize, hold on, that's not what's really missing. And so um but the thing is that you have job descriptions, you have meetings, you have procedures, you've delegated all of this stuff, but you're still the one who notices when something's off. You're the person that tracks what's happening, like why is this number going downstream right now, and what do we need to do about it, and who do I initiate a conversation with, because and you're the one that remembers, oh my gosh, follow-up needs to happen. And a lot of leaders define this as like, oh, I'm a good leader. No, you have become the invisible operating system. It's not about you being a good leader, it's you are the invisible infrastructure. Okay. Because the organization has to constantly lean on your memory, your discernment, your vigilance, your pattern recognition, your responsiveness, your initiation, which means you technically don't need to be in the building. You technically have delegated every single task, but you are umbilical corded to the company invisibly, because the organization is constantly borrowing your capacity. So, for example, you can have a teacher call out, and then everyone's like, well, this situation is different, right? Like everyone's constantly waiting for your discernment to weigh in on what's happening. Or you have enrollment drops or numbers drop. Well, who noticed that the numbers dropped? Who initiates a conversation that we need to go see why the numbers are dropping? What is the data telling us? What do we need to deploy in our marketing and our messaging and our tours and our, like, what needs to happen, right? So I'll give you such a simple example, right? So we had a client who did a parent survey, and one of the things that the parents gave back feedback on in the parent survey was they felt that there wasn't enough like education in the curriculum going on. They felt like it's really great, the school's play-based and it's fantastic, but like, we want there to be more education. And I said, okay, so then what happened next? And she's like, oh, well, we sat down, we collaborated together, and we realized like, the education specialist and the curriculum coordinator, we need to like, I was like, one second. Like, when you got feedback from the parents, you immediately assumed that this was a curriculum issue and you need to go and make more curriculum. Who says that that's the issue, right? What if the issue is that the teachers aren't communicating in their weekly newsletter what's actually happening in the classroom? What if the issue is the messaging in the tours, in the way the parents are being packaged the program? What if there's so many other things that could be the actual issue. You made an assumption that that's immediately it and went and deployed resources in that direction. That is you being the invisible infrastructure and also not recognizing where the data is actually coming from. All of that is labor. It is labor to do all of that, right? And then what constantly happens is that all of the systems work on normal days. But the moment there's an unusual situation or reality enters the room, which is like, oh, the plan didn't go according to plan, shocking, then all of your normal processes disappear and everyone's like, what should we do? And it's like, what does that even mean? That means like nobody knows how to operate under uncertainty and pressure here. Only me. Okay, so then I am literally the invisible operating system inside of this organization. Because when something starts to drift, I'm the only one that notices. And so the question that I want to leave you with, because again, a huge part of this can't be normal, and a huge part of what we do on Substack is thinking differently and looking at things from a different perspective. If you stopped noticing, reminding, anticipating, forecasting, thinking for 30 days, what would the business notice on its own? And if the answer is almost nothing, that is you being invisibly umbilical corded to your own organization, right? Because the invisible weight of leadership, which is what we talk about here in This Can't Be Normal, is not everything you do. You're basically not doing anything almost. It is everything that the company requires you to notice. It is every part of the business that needs your brain, your capacity, your discernment to function. And once you start looking for those things, you will see it everywhere. So that's the question I want to leave you with. And I'm curious, you can let me know in the comments if you're live or watch the replay. Where does the business still require your discernment, your thinking, your judgment, your anticipating, your forecasting? That's the invisible weight.